we'll begin with the controversial Electoral Amendment Act, where the Senate is expected to reconvene today for an emergency plenary session following public backlash over amendments to the Electoral Act, particularly the removal of the clause mandating real-time electronic transmission of election results. The sitting comes less than a week after the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026, as pressure mounts from civil society groups, opposition figures, and labor unions, professional bodies, as well as youth protesters. Senate President Godswill Akpabio is expected to preside over the session, with all 105 senators expected to attend. In the meantime, protesters are gathered in Abuja this Tuesday to oppose the Senate's rejection of mandatory electronic transmission of election results. Now, demonstrators, including former Rivers State Governor and ex-Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, called for urgent action to ensure transparency in elections. Amechi, who attended with his son, a medical doctor, said leaders should be at the forefront of major protests. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, called on Nigerians and opposition parties to mobilize against the Senate's decision. Amechi accused the ruling APC of resisting e-transmission out of fear of losing elections. Police blocked roads leading to the National Assembly ahead of an emergency plenary. And now joining us live, who is on standby at the protest grounds to give us updates, is Idong Joseph. Idong, it's good to have you on the news. Talk to me. What's the latest today?
You mentioned part of what is happening here today. Today's protest is day 2 of what started yesterday, where members of civil society organizations all started this, demanding an electronic transmission of election results from the polling units in real time. And today, opposition party members have come here to make the same demand. Yesterday, we saw Peter Obi, a member of the African Democratic Party, came here and also made his voice known, his own demand known in that regard, the electronic transmission of election results. And today, some other members of the opposition parties are also here to make similar same demand. And just as you mentioned also, the presence of security here is 2-3 times beyond what we saw yesterday. But I would like to speak with a member of the opposition party, the African Democratic Party, and he's here with me, and tell us why they are here and why they are still pushing instead of waiting after this emergency meeting, this emergency session, to hear what lawmakers are going to say, why they've come here today. Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Please, let's know your name and let's know why you're here. Lawmakers are having an emergency session. Why not wait till after the session before you continue and see if they are going to listen to what you mentioned previously?
Yeah, well, my name is Honorable Chilegbawa. I'm a former member of the National Assembly, also former Chief Executive of Public Complaints Commission Nigeria. I'm a leader of the National Opposition Movement. And we are here to express our displeasure as what the Senate did. The bill was submitted, it was worked upon, public hearing was held. The duty of every elected person is to ensure that what the public wants is what they communicate. So the idea of a public hearing is that you listen to what Nigerians want. You take it back and work on it to ensure that you deliver what they want. Public hearing was made. The preponderant position of Nigerians was that we want electronic transmission of election results. Now that was put in the draft bill. It was debated. The House of Reps has passed it. The Senate is messing around with it. And so that's why here. Now they have called for a session, an emergency session. We are here to remind them that they have a duty to Nigerians, not to themselves. And should they mess around, we'll take the next steps. That's what it is. So we are here to commend the House of Representatives for what they have done so far, and to that the Senate should redeem their image by also passing electronic transmission of election results.
Okay, Judith, I would like us to also speak to a female here. So we also have the female voice. Also, she'll speak to us on why she is here and what are her expectations at the end of this. So what are you expecting? Because there's an emergency.
All we are expecting is real-time transmission of our election results. Real-time electronic transmission of our election results. That's all what we want. We are not asking for too much. Our votes must count. One man, one vote. Do you understand? We want real-time electronic transmission of our results. That's why we are here. If they grant it to us, we are good to go. They should pass the bill. We will continue to come. We will continue to come. If they did not answer us, so they are holding a sitting now. If they did not answer us, we will continue to stay here. There are beds, so people did not see bed. There is bed all over this place. We are not joking. We are not joking. Nigeria must work. There must be a sustainable change in this country. We are not joking. So we are waiting for them to pass the bill. They are sitting now. Hopefully, they will pass the bill for real-time electronic transmission of our election result. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Judith, you've heard from her and also the gentleman. All they want is just one demand, an electronic transmission of results from the polling units in real time. And they've said that if after this emergency session, if that is not granted, then they will continue their protest till whenever they feel it's okay.
Idong, I must say thank you. Idong Joseph, there's our correspondent live from the
protest. Back to you, Judith, if you can hear me.
Idong, I must say thank you once again. We switch gears away from Abuja now to more issues here at hand. The trial of 11 suspects that were accused of the murder of the Arise News journalist, and that's Somtochukwu Maduagu, has resumed at the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Jabi, Abuja, after earlier proceedings stalled. The matter was adjourned to Tuesday following the absence of the defendants at the last sitting. The defendants have now been produced in court by officials of the Nigerian Correctional Services. Joining us from the courts, who has been monitoring the proceedings, is our very own Joshua Marayi, and he joins us live now. Joshua, many thanks for joining us. Still very much fresh in the minds of Nigerians. Walk with me. Just walk us through the proceedings for this morning. All defendants are now present, but what happened to their absence just yesterday? Why were they absent?
I am going live at the FCP High Court sitting in Jabi, and at exactly 10:30, the Black Maria van conveying some of these defendants rode into the premises of this court. And as you can see from the pictures, they were all bound in chains and legs to ensure that no one escapes. But one thing that is striking is that, particularly while I was trying to get footage of these individuals when they were being brought to court, one of them threatened to beat me up. You could see how quite aggressive some of these defendants are, and we are expecting that in the coming days, the case will be done justice to, and the truth will be unraveled. But beyond that, what we are seeing is that yesterday, the counsel representing the prosecution actually lamented for the fact that despite hearing notices and the court 50 notices served to all parties involved, the correctional service officials failed to produce a defendant, and they lamented. They, however, adjourned the matter today, which is currently holding. As we speak, the first prosecution witness is actually testifying before the court, and the name of Sandy, who says he resides in number 21 Colorado Street. He is an engineer and is currently giving his testimony to open court. And with the recent development, we see that more witnesses who are lined up to testify in court today will give their testimony to the court. So that is where we are on this case.
And at the moment, what is happening now at the court? Has the trial commenced at this time?
Of course. The trial has commenced in full scale, and all of the witnesses lined up to testify are ready to give their testimony. One of the witnesses, the first one, PW1, who is named Charlie, who says he resides in number 21 Colorado Street, who is an engineer, was a resident of that apartment until that incident made him leave that particular apartment, which he says is around unique apartment in Katafi that led to the deaths of the popular and rights journalist, may also rest in peace. So that is where we are in the case. And the next coming hours, these witnesses will testify to give their own first-hand experiences of the attack that happened on that particular building at that particular day.
All right, Joshua, I must say thank you for that. All eyes are on the courts now to see how the proceedings will commence today. Once again, Joshua Marayi, thank you. Joshua is our correspondent from the courts there in Abuja. And watching news now on News Central Television. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll switch gears to Lagos after the break. Stay with us. Now, residents in several parts of Lagos are raising concerns over indiscriminate waste dumping, warning that the problem could trigger flooding as the rainy season approaches. Now, joining us is Victor Mbadeke, who is live at the city center to give us more insight on this. Victor, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate you to come up on the news here. Talk to me. Where are you at the moment? Just behind you, so many waste.
All right, thank you, and good morning to you. Of course, sorry, good afternoon to you, Judith. I'm coming to you live from Ojije, in Lagos here. So let's start with part of the complaints over the weeks. If you actually been, watching and following up what's happening in Lagos, for most communities in Lagos, you're likely to find something very similar, something very nauseating, and something quite uninteresting, where locals not dump waste that wherever they feel like it's best, that they can't dump it. And some of the questions we actually ask ourselves this morning is the fact that, is it that LAWMA, for instance, the agency responsible for picking up this waste, are they overstretched? If you go to BRT terminals, you will see debts piled up and nobody attending to them. If you go to in front of some houses, some estates, some gates, you will see, piles of waste, piled up there, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, and asking questions as to why are these guys not picking up this waste. And if you keep dumping waste, then the challenge is not actually dumping waste in terms of waiting for LAWMA guys to pick it up. But the problem is when it gets filled up, it spirals to the floor and, it makes, the entire place, dirty and unhealthy for, in terms of safety. So we decided to say, let's go to some parts of Lagos and find out what it is like, in terms of the state of our roads, the state of our streets, even our canals, drainages and gutters. So, for instance, this is issue, like I said, but we have to be honest. I did notice that from places like in Ojije that we've been to, places like Abuja, this is a Jew, we've been to Abawale, so we'll notice that officials are doing everything that they can. Perhaps they've seen a lot of questions Nigerians are asking. They've seen a lot of reports and complaints made by even News Central as well, and they are taking action immediately. So you will notice that officials are, some of them are at these dump sites, for instance, to clean up the old places. And for instance, this place used to be as much more dirty than this. Now, take a look, you notice that there seems to be some work done here. Before now, local residents here say that it used to be a beehive. It used to be a very, very dirty place where you find piles of dumps or waste, dumped at this place. So clearly, the guys seem to be doing a lot of work to ensure that this place is cleaned up. But again, if you look much more forward than that, just straight where that black vehicle you can see just right ahead of me, you'll see a pile of dump, or waste dump actually there. So these are the signs of what you can literally see in most parts of Lagos. I don't know if Charles can walk with me a little bit. You notice that these guys are actually working on this drainage. I did ask questions why this is actually happening, and they said they're actually wary of the floods. The rains will begin anytime from March, April, and of course you do not want the rains, to affect this entire drainage, because when the rains come, people will dump waste into this drainage, will have themselves to blame. And this is one of the challenges. So Lagos residents are actually preparing for the floods, as a matter of fact, to ensure that they don't get into serious problem. Emmanuel, you want to tell me exactly what is happening here and why are we having this exercise, seeing that a lot of persons are working there? You want to talk to me very quickly in just short few minutes? No, I'll hold it for you just a little. Okay. So tell us, why are we having this? And who is responsible for dumping all of these waste into the drainage?
We don't know who is responsible for dumping this refuse into the drainage, but all we know is we are here for cleaning Lagos State Public Works to avoid being flooded, because there's a section over there, at that railway over that line. So we have done that section, and we are doing this section to avoid flooding, because we just used some money for that construction of rehabilitation of that road over there at the front, that interlocking, and they wanted to do something like that too at that other end too. Just to avoid flooding, we are meant to clear everything away inside the drainage to avoid flooding, not to wash away our materials used on the road too. That's why we are doing it.
Some persons will say that agencies like LAWMA or LSPWC will say they are overwhelmed and they are overstretched. Looking at the numerous challenges that you guys are having, would you say the challenges are part of the reasons why you've not been doing this over time? You've not been, because I'm pretty sure this has been here for quite a long time. Are there challenges that you feel that the agency is actually going through that you wish that things could have been better?
No, I don't think we are facing any challenges in the agency because I've cleaned this place. I cleaned it last year, December. I've been cleaning it numerous times. I've been cleaning it time over and over. And same issue has still been happening over this place. So all we have to do is that we have to maintain the road and the drainage system. All we have to do now is to tell the challenges we are facing is that the people around should please give their debt to the lawma agency that is in charge to avoid being flooded, to avoid flood in the drainage system, because if water is not flowing through the drainage system, we won't be able to have all these things we are facing here now, the challenges we are facing here. That's the only challenges we are facing here, being pouring dirt inside the drainage system, because it won't allow free flow of water at all and it will cause flood.
Anytime from now, in the next few weeks, we will be talking and discussing flooding challenge in Lagos. And one of the issues or major problems in terms of this flood will be this issue that you are seeing, people dumping waste, refuse into the canals. And most of the time, this, blocks the free flow of water and then cause more chaos on our roads in Lagos. I wish we could, continue to inform Nigerians that indiscriminate dumping of waste on our roads, piling up and not doing anything about them, it's not going to help Lagos. So we don't want to keep on saying Lagos is smelling. We are part of the problem and we must do better as we wait for agencies to do, to take up the responsibility to keep Lagos clean. Judith.
All right. Many thanks. I must say thank you, Victor, for that. Victor Mbadike there, just at the Ishaga in Lagos, giving us a bit of insight with the waste management situation around the city as we sort of expect the rainy season. We switch gears away from Lagos and now to Benue State as fear has taken hold of Utonkan district in the Ado local government area of Benue State following the abduction of 9 worshippers from St. John's Catholic Church in Ojije. Now, the victims were taken during a night vigil on Saturday, that was on February 7th, when gunmen stormed the church. Now, the abducted worshippers were reportedly teenagers who were unarmed at the time of the attack. The kidnappers are said to be demanding a 30 million naira ransom for their release. Mothers within the community, visibly distressed, are leading calls for the immediate release and safe return of their children, appealing to both the government and security agencies to act swiftly. Families and community leaders are urging the state government to intervene urgently, secure the freedom of the abducted worshippers, and improve protection for vulnerable communities. And now to shed more light on this incident, we're joined by an indigene of the community that is in Ado local government area, Benue State, and that's Comrade John Okbali, and he joins me virtually. John, it's good to have you on the news. Just take us back to that night, February 7th. What exactly happened and how did the community learn of this abduction?
Good afternoon, news channel. My name is Comrade John Okbali, an indigene of the Ufia community. Just like you have said already, we are in pain in our community right now. It happens on Saturday around 2 a.m. when these little children go to their church in the Catholic center there, as it is their fasting period. And they were doing their night vigil as usual. A house of God is a place of worship where people should have peace of mind no matter what happens. So these children were unarmed, they were vulnerable. Around 2 a.m., these kidnappers came up and took them all away. And up to today, we have no trace of them. We don't know who is responsible. The families of these children are in pain. Two of our children are involved, are victims of this kidnap. That is why this morning or this afternoon, we are not happy. The community is in pain and sorrow. We want the world, we want the government, we want whoever is responsible for our children for us. Thank you very much.
Very much. I do have to ask you, John, right, just around this community and the district surrounding this community, have they ever experienced similar security incidents in the past, or is this a one-off for the very first time?
Yes, we have experienced so many similar experiences in the past. In fact, as of last month, December period, we have a kidnap case of about 7 to 8 persons. Some of them are even a student of the UniJos and the Uni on their way to the church program. You know, this kidnap case has now become virtually on the Christian communities. And in Ufia community, there are no police station checkpoints. The place is as deep as a forest, so anything could actually go wrong without anybody tracing it. So this is not the first, this is not the second, this is not neither the third, but it has been happening even without anybody or the government on it. We are in pain.
And what immediate steps do you see the community members? What do they expect from the government and security agencies at this time? And has anyone, whether at the local council level or the local government level or the governor, spoken or just reacted to this incident?
Yes, there's a social group where it is called the Ufia Development Association. The chairman, Mr. Tony Omerigwe, he is the president of the association, and it is the highest association in the Ufia community that has the authority to go or to give orders as concerning issues like this. So earlier yesterday, he has released a press statement that the gunmen and the kidnappers are on the chase, that we should be present to see what they can do. Also, they have contacted some relevant authorities and personnel to help in this search. Meanwhile, the community of Ufia Kingdom are requesting an adequate, immediate effect of this rescue team. If there's any way the government can help us mobilize security agencies to have a station there that will permanently guide and preserve the life of our children, we will be glad. So that is it for now. And I'm of the His Excellency, the governor of Benue State, alias, I believe he will do something, but we are yet to hear any response at his end at the moment. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Comrade John, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us this morning. Our heart goes out to the families of those whose children have been abducted and also the community, and we do hope that they will be rescued safely and back to the arms of their loved ones. Comrade John Ukpali there joining us from Benue following the recent kidnapping that happened in a Catholic church in Ado local government area. We switch gears from Benue back to Lagos, but after this break, stay with us. Off to Lagos State we go, as the Lagos State House of Assembly has taken its intervention on the Makoko demolition crisis to the affected waterfront communities. Now, lawmakers visited the area after residents petitioned the House over the alleged demolition of their homes and businesses. News Central's correspondent Israel Ferobo has the details.
Members of the Lagos State House of Assembly Committee on Rules and Business visited the Makoko waterfront community to assess the impact of the demolitions. The visit follows a petition by community leaders and a meeting held recently at Assembly Complex where residents sought urgent intervention.
We are so glad the House members are here to assess the whole thing. It's a big joy.
We are glad that the House of Assembly has sent a special committee led by Honorable Nohim Adams, who is the majority leader, and the rest of the team. And we have gone there and they have seen for themselves and made their assessment of the situation. We should continue. We are going to continue to be there for our people because as the local government, that is our job.
Residents guided lawmakers through affected areas, stressing they support development but want dialogue and inclusion.
My attestation is this: we are not fighting government. We are the law-abiding community. As they demolish, we are now accepting 100 meters, nothing than that.
Compensation for livelihood losses, emergency temporary shelter for those whose houses are demolished, rebuilding of demolished structures, and settlement for those displaced. These things are very, very important for us, which we want the Honorable House members to attend to.
Our community is our own.
Lawmakers assured residents their findings will be presented to the House to guide decisions on lasting solution.
We are appealing to everybody that status quo should remain, that nobody should go ahead to do anything, whether from the government or from the people. If the government is respecting the decision of the House of Assembly, then the people too should respect the decision of the House of Assembly. The status quo should remain. You understand? I want to thank the SAJS once again for complying, because we asked and they said they have complied, that they have ought in the motion. But today, it's just for us to see, and we have seen for ourselves that they've studied demolition, and for everybody, the status quo should remain.
The Assembly members also announced another planned engagement with community leaders at the State House of Assembly.
And so the much-awaited visit by members of the Lagos State House of Assembly has come and it has gone, with a message to the people of Makoko that engagement with them will continue, as they will try to get to a solution as soon as possible. But for now, the people of Makoko are waiting patiently to continue their lives like they have known it for over 100 years. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Ifiroba.